still stands for something? No. Offender in custody? Anyone else close by just to let me know.
Good afternoon, everybody. Because of some recent events and some conversations that have taken place today, this is why we're doing this re-air today instead of a later date that was previously planned. We'll have episode 2 airing tomorrow for you, and we will have the members live on Saturday with special guests for the finale of this. This was previously Members Live. This is episode 1 and 3. Some sheep are really wolves out there. Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, or late evening, depending on where you're at. Depending on where you're at.
Hello.
Chilling in the mobile studio right now, so I apologize if it kind of gets a little, spotty or whatever, but I think we're good so far. StreamYard's looking good. Everything's looking good. Thank you for joining this members only. It's a couple things. I'm glad that we're doing it today. It's been something that's been on my chest the last few weeks or so, ever since I came across this stuff. It's, you know how much I care. You know how much I care about these communities, these victims, and the truth. And so it's going to be for the soul. I'm going to feel like there's some kind of purpose behind what we're doing in this multi-series kind of thing we're doing when it comes to the wolves amongst the sheep. And the reason that I made it that way and I made the thumbnail the way it was is because there's a lot of, when we're dealing with the true crime communities and we're dealing with those topics, people care so much. People care so much. And just like JP pulls at the heartstrings of the people of his flock, unfortunately, there's some people on here that do the same and practice the same. And so you think that these people are about the good, about the victims, about justice. And then, like I said, sometimes they're amongst the sheep and they get hidden very well. And when you come across, things, it's kind of like, for the soul, you kind of have to talk about it, And I think the responsible thing to do is to do it as a members only, because I think the message needs to be put out there, but at the same time, these are all things that anybody can come across. And I can sit there just like the people outside of JP's church. I can sit there and tell them all these things or tell them to go find the information themselves. And sometimes that's just not enough. Sometimes, you have to talk about it. And it's not for everybody. The reason that it's a members only is because, for you all that support the show, and thank you all for supporting the show the way that you do. I'm going to share it with you, and I consider you my closest family. And so I'm going to share it with you, and you all can share it with the rest of the family, kind of like the congregation at Solid Rock when all of a sudden JP announces the passing of Micah, and then a bunch of people are like, well, I heard this and I heard this, and then they go and look and they're like, yeah, that's true. I hate to compare it like that, but this person discusses the Micah Miller case a lot. And not only it was kind of like a mixture of things. I already knew that a lot of this information that was being said, between, basically, I work with the FBI and I can tell you who's being investigated and who's not. It's a bunch of BS, people. There's nobody that works with the FBI that is going to allow somebody to sit there and say, well, you can tell them that we're investigating so-and-so. The FBI is not going to tell somebody, hey, guess what? We're investigating so-and-so. Anything that gets released is from news articles and mainly Fitz News. Okay? I want everybody to understand that. Mainly Fitz News. And as I've talked to people in the background that deal with this particular individual when it comes to information, it's very unsettling because the stuff that like I said, it's going to be a multi-part series. We're going to get into some stuff that's on YouTube in this episode. The next episode, we're going to get more into, like witnesses and things like that. And then in episode 3, I'm going to show you how all of the stuff that is being said to you and promoted to you as secret knowledge or information that you should take as 100% factual. I'm going to break, just like I broke down JP's interviews, I'm going to break down and show you, because I'm boots on the ground. I talk to these people. I know what's going on. I know who feels what about who and what and all sorts of stuff in between. This community loves me. They show me a lot of support and trust. And I'm telling you right now, this is why I said it was like a combo thing, and why we're having a members only today is because not only am I seeing these things being reported to you as factual information or knowledge that other people don't know, because I'm watching this stuff and I'm going, this is a bunch of BS. I know this is not the truth. And then you mix that with hearing enough over and over and over and over and over about it and seeing it for myself, and how I can show you with somebody's own words how it is a bunch of smoke. Like I said, I'm going to break it down. But at the same time, I'm also going to show you that this isn't secret knowledge. This is stuff that mainly comes from Fitz News and Facebook. And so when somebody's passing this stuff off, promoting it as such, to the people that really truly care, and that's why people don't see the wolves, because just like JP, they pull at the heartstrings to bring down your awareness so that way you can be easily manipulated. It's a game that not only gets used on YouTube, but it also gets used to some of these people that we're going to show you as we go through these next episodes. You're going to see how the tactics that are being used on this platform are also the same tactics that are being used to people when it comes to sources. It's sad that somebody can make financial gains off of somebody else's name, somebody else's loved one that's no longer here with us, and make you all think that there's real work being done. Not like I'm doing. Not like I'm doing. This person is just getting their information from Fitz News and Facebook. Words things in a very intricate way to make you think that there's more than what is behind the mask. But if you break the words down, they are words spoken in a certain way that he could then go back and say, well, this is what I said, and it didn't. I'm sorry if you took it that way. I'm going to break it down. That's going to be in episode 3. So thank you for, sorry for the little speech there, Rosie. But it's very important that people understand this.
Yeah, very.
It's very important. So one thing I'm going to share with you guys, and this is something that there was a lot of people that reached out to me in the last couple weeks from the community, sending me the same information, and trust me, I appreciate you sending them out. But what you have to understand is that these episodes were already in my head and planned out by the time that I got your emails. Thank you so much for sending them. And I'm sorry it took so long to get to this. But with the work that I'm doing, the travel that's involved, and the conversations that I have to have when I'm not doing a show, it makes it kind of hard to fit some things in. And so I appreciate your patience. The first thing I'm going to share with you guys is an episode from Rude Advice, okay? Now, like I told you guys in the beginning, and here's the channel link. Like I told you guys in the beginning, I was just sitting here at home in the studio doing prep like I always do. I'm constantly, as soon as I'm up, I'm at my computer desk. And I'm at my computer desk until I go to bed. And as I'm doing my prep, I'm sitting there and I came across this, and it's during these little times that I'm doing my prep and I'm so, I get it all done for that particular couple hour period. And then I have a little playlist that I save off to the side for interesting things that I might want to check out later. And that's when I come across things like the Sigma Chi fraternity, EMS connections and all this stuff. I just come out with these little different things. And as I started to watch this video, I was like, oh my gosh, because this was at a point where I was kind of amongst those sheep. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of amongst those sheep. I was going, dang, wow, this is interesting stuff, right? But as I started to continue to do my own prep, I started to see the timeline of when somebody comes out with information and when information is released by higher sources. So then I started to look at the conversations that were being spoken to me in a different way. And after I started to do that, then I started to understand that the things that I was hearing match with everything that was being said from an earlier video that I checked out. This is one of those that I came across, and here's the channel I'm going to share with you. Like I said, the first episode, we're going to be watching some things, and these are things, I'm going to share the links with you. These are things that you're going to be able to go watch on your own as well. But we're having a community conversation, and this is the first part. It's more like an introduction into all the other stuff that I'm going to show you later. So this is Rude Advice. Share this with you all real quick. Here, we'll do this. This is Rude Advice. I'll just shrink this up a little bit. All right, here's the channel. All right. Now, like I said, I was just doing some prep, and I was like, oh, man, what is this? I started checking it out. Shout out to this guy. Divorce life coach. I haven't checked out any of the other videos, but this is one you're definitely going to want to watch on your own. Check this out. It's a re-upload. So I don't know when the original upload was, but we're watching the re-upload. And this is RH Exposed. And it's not. Trigger warning, okay? I do want to mention that as well, okay? As we get into this.
Robbie, Harvey followers, let me ask you this. Remember last year?
All right. This is going to be a trigger warning. I'm going to mention that right now. Some of the things that are going to be discussed not in the third episode where I break it all down, but this episode, is going to be a trigger warning. I just want to let everybody understand that. So if there is moments where you got to back out, totally understand.
When I told you you couldn't trust the guy.
More horrifying and problematic messages between Robbie Harvey and another woman who is a victim.
Do you remember me telling you he was exploiting your stories for his financial gain?
$3,000 in one day. In case this hasn't hit you yet, Robbie Harvey is bragging to another beautiful woman in his messages about the money he's making off of your victim stories. Now in the month of June, I've already made $20,000 fucking dollars. So look how much he's making from the Kasnoff case, guys.
Do you remember me telling you he was a complete fake and you shouldn't trust him?
This is TMI, but my wife just had a good O. I'll never understand how that feels for her. No man will, but whatever. Just to be clear, Robbie is privately messaging another woman about his wife's orgasms, and he wants this woman to know how good he makes his wife feel. I enjoy BJs, and I don't get them by going off late at night to do what I want. So he's using a story of where a guy did something that he would never do, because again, he wants to make himself look like the nice guy. But then he says, the reason I don't do those things is because I want to get BJs. And not only that, he's talking about BJs with another woman. And when she sent me these screenshots, she told me she would, like, she has been feeling so fucked up over this. Check this one out, guys, because this shows Robbie's real motive, okay? Where do you live? She responds, he says, I'm going to be in New York in a few weeks, and I was going to make you meet up if you were close. Hold up, pause. Now we're on the let's meet up level. You think this is Robbie's first time doing this? Fuck no. This is what he does. This is all narcissists cheat.
So remember when I always tell you, okay? When somebody gets busted for one, there's always another 5.
Right.
Always another 5. Very important with what she's saying.
This is what narcissists do. This is what they do. Gain their trust, cross the boundaries, exploit them, try to get them to meet up with you.
Do you remember last year when I said he changed the details of my story specifically to trigger you? I said all that, and over 5,000 of you attacked me for months because of his lie. You threatened to take my kids. You threatened to call CPS, report me as an abuser, and I kept telling you he was a liar. Mind you, all this happened the week my dad died, and he didn't care, nor did you. I've never taken pleasure as an adult man in saying these words, but I am right now. When I say I told you so, I fucking told you so.
So I'll share the link to this episode.
Reason, you know what? And I've never been one to gloat. I'm not a gloating channel. I don't like talking about rumors or chismeria about anybody. But the fact that this guy, Robbie Harvey, I've spoken about him a few times, and I just did a live the other day because somebody asked about it because he had gotten some feedback from his followers and how he turns out he's narcissistic. But this was before the actual evidence had dropped that he was actually cheating on his wife with some other person or attempting to cheat. But to know that you were right about somebody and you saw the true colors and now it's surfacing and he is exposed for what he is and he's more or less canceled, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty damn good today.
So he's not canceled. This video is 5 months old. Maybe 5 months ago, something took place and had to shut down for a little while. You know, but sure is talking about Micah Miller. And when you're talking about victims that, oh man, it's like I said, it's a trigger warning, you guys. The stuff that it's not good.
So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about everything. I'm going to talk about who he is because I understand there's a lot of you. Obviously, he's not that big of a deal, but a lot of people don't know who he is.
And shout out to the comfort for this guy to share his story because, like he said in the beginning of this video, he was harassed, threatened not only by community, because look, he's got almost 100K. You know what I'm saying? He's got almost 100K. When Ann talks about flying monkeys, he's got his own flying monkeys, okay? He's got his own flying monkeys. And those flying monkeys attacked this gentleman right here. And so when it comes to being somebody that's a content creator, caring about communities, caring about victims the way that you do, and you have flying monkeys attack this guy like I had flying monkeys attack me in the Sebastian Rogers case, because that's what they were, flying monkeys as well. Shout out to this guy for sharing his story, because you want to talk about mental health, people. It's the mental health that you don't even understand of what this gentleman, and I know what he had to go through because I had to go through it myself. And I'm telling you right now, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. So shout out to this guy for his comfort and sharing his story. And I'll probably have one myself later on down the road when it comes to it too, because there's a lot of shit that really hurt. That really, really hurt.
So I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about my encounter with him and what exactly he did to me, and how he made my life a living hell for about 6 months to a year. It was really horrible last year what he did to me. I'm also going to talk about the original victim. Her name's Casey. She's now gone public with her story. She reached out to me last year. She told me all the details of what he did and how he was grooming her into like a threesome with his wife by sending nude photos of his wife over to her. I couldn't say that. And she told that yesterday. So I'm glad she's finally telling her story. But I'm going to talk about her story. Then I'm going to talk about what exactly went down yesterday with another creator. I had no idea who she is, but there's a 5-video uploaded yesterday showing screenshots. And I gave you guys highlights on what he was talking about with this other female. But real quick, let's talk about who this guy is, Mr. Harvey. First and foremost, he's a... How do I say this? He's a male feminist, I guess. Male feminist, I guess is the word I want to use. And just to kind of give you an idea, all of his videos are about, again, targeting his specific audience, which is women who have been through abusive relationships, women who've been more or less hurt by men. It's a good cause, but what he's doing.
Do you see why I'm having these episodes today, and why in my soul I have to responsibly, I'm sorry, I didn't realize this is covering us up. My bad. There we go. My bad. Sorry. This is why I had to do these. This is why when I came across this gentleman's video, because this is the video I first came across, y'all. This is the first video. And when I first came across this, as I was in my chill part, where I'm taking a 30-minute break from work just to check out other stuff for work. That's my chill time.
Take a break from work to work. Yeah.
Right. I apologize, y'all. I crashed the hell out last night finally. But when I came across this, and then I'm like sitting here going, but you're talking about Micah Miller, and when you're talking on your shows, you're talking like this, like you're really fucking hurt. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. That's when I told you guys, I started looking at the words a little differently. And that's when I started going, no, this is a wolf amongst sheep. So, shout out to the victims. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I just also wanted to point out that he talks about Sandra Birchmore too.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, that's tragic. I mean, it's the same thing as Micah Miller in a lot of ways.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's all narcissistic men.
Yeah.
That have a ego that goes beyond the 150. Hell, the ego is like minus 150.
Yeah, if that.
And it's like I say, man, like that picture I have for the thumbnail, it's hard to see it. Imagine if there's
Is.
100,000 sheep. You gonna see that wolf in that picture?
No.
There's 100,000 sheep around that wolf, even if it has red glowing eyes. You ain't gonna see it.
Is he's more or less exploiting it like these women had a feeling about. So all of his videos are here. He gets millions of views daily. He gets at least 1 million. We're talking 906,000, etc. So his audience is vast. And he's recently made national news by covering a Casanov case. I don't know anything about it, but apparently some videos were leaked and he's kind of profiting off of that. In one of the videos I'm going to share later, he more or less tells us, he's boasting to this TikTok model that, hey, I made 20 grand in the month of June because of the Casanov case. Again, he's highlighting stories. He's making men the villain. And there's a few other accounts just like that. But
And imagine what he's making right now. You know what I'm saying? Off of Micah Miller's case.
Right. Right. I can't even imagine.
And I'm out here just going dime by dime trying to make it to be around and stuff. You know what I mean? It just makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense.
I'm sorry.
The smoke, man. No,
that's more or less the gist of his story. And that's more or less what he talks about. Look at him.
And it's hard for her to heal from it because she's scared if she brings it up, it'll be insignificant to you again. You dismiss it or you make fun of it.
YouTube. I can't share the audio on TikTok.
And it won't be important to you like it is to her.
He's got organs.
The little things you say during moments of passion, during moments of argument.
Fucking music. It's like church fucking music.
I know.
Pulling at your heart. I'm surprised JP don't love this guy. Honestly,
right?
I'm serious.
No, I know.
Because they're one and the fucking same. And I'm sorry for getting it's really like just wait until I break down showing you guys how the stuff that's being said to you is just a bunch of nothing. And it won't even be from my own words. I'll be breaking that down. Yes, it's like they're I don't understand why they are not like best buds. Maybe they are. Maybe it's like, I'm serious, Rosie. Maybe it's like a fake. If you know what I'm saying, if you make somebody think that you all hate each other so much, they could never think that you would ever work together. And I'm being serious.
Maybe. I mean, maybe.
Because listen, he says, I specifically got these prescription pictures right from JP.
Yeah.
Now the other stuff, there's the sources or the people I talk to. so I mean the other stuff, but with JP, if he's claiming that he got those, that's what I'm saying. It's just like if somebody doesn't want you, to like think that you're working with somebody, right? You want to create as much distance as possible. And so therefore you're going to make people think that that you go back and forth. Yeah, Jay, calls him Stinking Harvey, with the S, the middle initial S. If y'all catch that Easter egg in the News Nation interview, gave him an S initial for stinking. I don't know. Where's this guy based out of? It's in the Midwest, ain't it?
I wouldn't know, but I mean that, like you say, that would be like the last thing that people would expect. But at the same time, why wouldn't they be friends based on everything we've just seen and
I
heard?
don't know. They're two peas in a pod. And
Right?
Kylie, when I saw that, because somebody sent that to me, y'all send me a bunch of clips of stuff. Even some of the quote sources that he has even send me clips of him claiming certain things, right? And like this right here, this is what I'm saying. The FBI is not going to say, hey, guess what? Nobody else knows, but we're going to tell you. No, that doesn't happen. The FBI don't talk to people. The FBI, in fact, want people who won't talk. And they're definitely not going to work with people that talk. If they do, it's the people that are reporters on the other end of the microphone that are recording their statements.
Mhm.
You know, he wants to talk. It's so easy to say, I could have told you True Crime Re was being investigated by the FBI. It's not fucking rocket science because JP's getting investigated by the FBI and everybody that has contact with JP is getting investigated by the FBI. I mean, it's not rocket science. And when True Crime Re is that close to JP, what do you think? It's obvious. And you can say sources all day. I could sit there and say, hey, guess what, guys? I woke up today. I got some bombshell information. A source told me that the sun is fucking blue. That's what a source told me. And then a whole bunch of people are running outside looking up in the sky. Is it blue? Is it blue? I don't know. It's too bright. I can't tell. No, RH is not True Crime Re. I think True Crime Re, and I think True Crime Re is. I think True Crime Re is a female that JP is either, you know, wooing, or a female that JP has under his what should I say? I'm sure there's been physical contact, if you know what I mean.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's been, and I think it's one of the people that is either under his spell or under his abuse or under his control, or a female that he's wooing. So they may have they might go to have ice cream together, and she might think he's the sweetest guy in the world, like all the other victims do in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like before True Crime Re even was posting videos, I know there's posts before, I feel like there's more of a deeper connection there. Of course.
Yeah. I agree with you.
All right, back to this episode. Like I said, trigger warning, y'all. Probably for the next episode and a half.
Tell me that isn't cringe, people.
It is.
But this is his videos. This is all he does.
Church
and
music.
he gets millions of views.
You don't have to say something big or dramatic to hurt someone. It can be the littlest of things that destroys the woman in your life.
Because he knows perfectly.
So she's struggling.
Church music.
She wants you
Church
to know
music.
that. You need to take her seriously about it.
Let's see. I never realized people would take a cause and be fake about it. Rudy, thank you, Kelly. And you know what? There are a lot of accounts like him. There's also this Kaylee Callista, who I'll talk about in a bit.
Oh, it just dropped out for a second.
Chad, and also see friend Matt. When you create content, and there's a lot of people out there who aren't really vested in the actual cause. They just found a need. And when they find a niche like how far do you want to go with this? He sold his soul. I think he's always been a piece of shit. And he just more or less took a demographic. We're talking women who've been through hell, right? We're talking about women who've been through hell, been through horrible marriages, abusive relationships or worse. And he's playing to their sympathies, is what he's always done.
And then uses the victims in, fragileness against them. It's disgusting.
He says, give me your story so I can share it. What he's really doing, he says, give me content is what he's doing. He's give me your pain and your story so I can share it for my gain. Now, if this guy was donating all of his money to women's charities, then I say, oh, that's pretty reputable. Okay, he's actually, he's helping women. He's giving money back. No, he's profiting off of you. And he always has. These guys are targeting damaged, heartbroken incels who are angry. And they're
I hope that answers your question. Let me know.
Showcasing these incels, women that they hate or they're complaining about or who like brought the Western culture to a demise. So they're showcasing people who trigger them. It's a gimmick. It's a hustle, and it makes me sick. And I will never do that. I would never do that. And that's why I associate with creators who would never get in that space. But that's exactly what he was doing and has been doing. And again, as of right now, before his collapse, he had over 3 million followers, okay? And that is Robbie Harvey. Again, a male feminist. You saw the video. Take it for what it is, but it makes me sick and cringe. It's horrible. Now for my encounter with Robbie and what he did to me. This happened last year. I had never heard about him, ever. And my dad passed away. For those who don't know, my dad was battling dementia for like 5 years. And he finally passed. This is the second week of June of last year. And I made a video saying like, hey, my dad passed. I'm going to be off TikTok for a while. So I go. And when I come back a week later, I see thousands. I stopped counting, thousands of just video stitches, comments, all these inboxes all over my social media platforms are like how I'm a horrible son of a bitch and et cetera. And I'm like, what's going on? So I'm going to play my videos. Okay. Just so everybody has full context. Again, I'm going to play these videos from beginning to end. I'm going to play my video and what I was saying.
Thank you, Steph. I appreciate you saying that because I did mention that before, and thank you for reminding others. I appreciate that.
And what Robbie did.
Plus, this is a members live only, so it's a little special. And when we're talking about a specific, when we're talking about one, yes, this is what we're talking about.
And how he changed it. Okay, so let me just do that real quick, because I want everybody to have full context.
One of the main reasons why my marriage failed, there's a ton of them, but one of the main reasons was when the kids arrived, we were so in love and so happy to be parents that we forgot to focus on still being a husband and wife. All our energy, all our efforts went toward the kids. And you can understand that because when kids arrive, it's a whole different life-changing experience and they're your world. But again, as the years went on, we completely forgot about the wife part and the husband part. And before you know it, I was looking at my wife and just saw a mom. I didn't see my wife anymore, if that makes any sense. And plus, kids take up so much of your energy, especially when they get older. There's games and then there's practices. So Monday through Friday, you're exhausted. Weekends, there's games. In tournaments, you're exhausted. So when we got home, we were just so exhausted and we made no efforts or extra push for ourselves or date night because we just wanted to rest and sleep.
So that was my first video that I posted. And for those who don't know me or what my content is, my platform more or less is my mistakes. I've called myself out plenty of times. I was married 16 years, and I guess I got notoriety when I made that video. And me explaining that I cheated on my ex-wife back in 2008. Now in the video, in all my videos, I provide perspective. So I want people to understand what your spouse may be thinking or going through. I've taken full accountability on all my videos. I have never blamed anybody but my own. My ex-wife has forgiven me. We have a great co-parenting relationship. And again, this happened in 2008 when I was like 32. So I'll share that video so people can understand that, hey, there's many reasons why a marriage failed, but the important thing is to never forget about your spouse. When kids come in, it's an unconditional love, and you can get lost in it like we did. We forgot to be husband and wife. And that wasn't just when they were newborns. This is like 5 years of just being mom and dad and forgetting to be husband and wife. And again, there's also financial things that came into the reason why my marriage failed. And I shared that video, and it's very triggering. I get that, but it's the truth. I don't want people to make the same mistake I did. So that's what had happened. That's the video I shared. And that's when my I guess my following of women started just growing. A lot of women said, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate you being vulnerable, all that stuff. And I'm like, thank you. I really do appreciate your feedback. And that's how things started going. Then there's this video that I stitched. I took it down because so many people took it out of context. And I want to show you the full video that I took down, but then I'm going to show you what Robbie played and where he cut off the video. Okay, so let me just share that real quick. This man cheated on his wife. He says, you weren't giving me attention. The baby came in and you're solely focusing on the baby. And that cheated. And again, I'm going to
take care of our son, right?
I am not justifying this guy's actions, but you know what? I can understand because that's exactly what happened in my case back in 2008. I have to admit, it just brought back a bunch of feelings because I know the internet's going to be hating on this guy, calling him names and supporting the wife. I can totally understand that too. But again, horrible action. He's going to pay karma, and with friends lost, and he's just like I didn't live in his own house anymore. But imagine being a husband and you love your wife and you crave attention. Maybe you made efforts to make things work again, rekindle things, and she's just not there. You know how heartbreaking it is for a husband to look at his wife and not see a wife and just see a mother? Put yourself in his shoes for just a second. You know how lonely that is to be in a home and see a family you don't feel like you're part of it? It's a heartbreaking, lonely place. That's all I'm going to say.
In other words, again, make time for your spouse. Like one of the mistakes, like I said, I made in my marriage is that we just didn't make time for each other. And when somebody is craving, attention, it could be the husband or wife. It's heartbreaking when you don't have that connection anymore. So avoid it, is what I was saying. That video, the first video I posted was, again, I think December of 2020. And again, I just sent the video. I'm not justifying it, but I can understand how he felt because I was there. Make sure, again, never show love to your spouse. Which again, it's my spouse comes first, then my kids. I'm not going to make those. That's what marriage counseling taught me. That's the video that I had to take down. And this was like a year, maybe 20 December. We're upset about it, but again, that's the message. Just always make time for your spouse. Robbie, what he did, and notice where he cuts off.
That's why I did it.
Okay, you realize that I was taking care of our son, right?
I am not justifying this guy's actions, but you know what? I can understand because that's exactly what happened in my case.
He doesn't know any of my videos in the past or what my messages.
I have to admit, it just brought back a bunch of feelings because I know the internet's going to be hating on this guy, calling him names and supporting the wife. I can totally understand that too. But again, horrible action. He's going to pay karma, and with friends lost, and he can't even live in his own house anymore. But imagine being a husband and you love your wife and you crave attention. Maybe you made efforts to make things work again, rekindle things, and she's just not there. You know how heartbreaking it is for a husband to look at his wife and not see a wife and just see a mother?
Did you hear the last thing he said?
Did you notice where he cut it off? Did you notice where he said, he totally cut off the part where I said, make time to love your spouse, make time to show them love. He cut that off purposely. Listen to what he said.
To not see a wife and to see a mother.
No context. He's telling 2 million women that. Okay.
Wow.
That should tell you something. She's exhausted from being a stay-at-home mom.
Stop right there. And I'm getting triggered because my ex-wife was not a stay-at-home mom.
Wow.
We both worked full-time. And for those who know me, I'm an involved father. The greatest role I've ever had in my life is being a father. I've been involved since day one.
She needs help. She needs you to step up. It's
oh God.
no longer just you and her. It's you, her, and someone else.
And I just want to note that this video he made, did you hear what he said? I need to step up and keep listening.
And she needs your help.
She needs your help.
I'm not getting the attention I need in my marriage also. You want to know why?
Wow.
My wife has cancer.
And this son of a bitch posted this video June 22nd of last year. And the video that exposes him flirting with a fucking model is 3 weeks after this video.
Wow.
You piece of shit.
Wow.
Oh God, I love it. But anyway, listen to this fucker.
And we have 3 children.
Oh, Robbie, do you?
And right now, those have taken priority than her and I. Do I crave attention? Do I want it from her? Yes.
And we have screenshots.
And she knows that. But in this situation, it's going to take time. It's going to take patience. And it's going to take
Robbie?
constant communication.
Yeah.
Sometimes in marriage, you have to step aside.
Really?
And step up.
And flirt with other TikTok models. Is that what your advice is? So he made that video and everything went to hell. So again, mind you, this is the week my dad died. So I don't know if any of this is going on. So
Wow. So he was just trying to give an inspirational message, admitting his faults. You know, they probably went to counseling. It sounds like they went to counseling because he was reflecting on the things that he did wrong. He took accountability for the things that he did wrong. He came out to express his, you know, his story, you know, about what he did, which is one of the most, you know, one of the worst things you can do to a spouse. And then tried to have a message. Look, this was my failure. This is what went wrong. Everybody else don't fall into this pit. Because of how, you know, he understood what he did wrong. He took accountability, was lonely as hell, realized he lost his family for something stupid, and probably said, you know what, I'm going to make a video because what if I would have came across this video, even though I shouldn't have had to, but what if I came across this video, heard this story, and then all of a sudden when I'm in a situation, I go, wait a minute, I watched this video. Oh no. And then, you know, so maybe that's what it was. And he totally manipulated and twisted that, cut it off, and promoted to a community of females that are victims, which then brought on this gentleman right here.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, you were cutting out a little bit at the end there, but I'm so shocked because this person, Rudy, right? I mean, he's just like, nobody has the right to negate his feelings. He's just trying to talk about something that he actually thinks can help people. And it's a really good message if you watch the whole thing and don't clip it and then use it as an excuse to talk about how great you are.
I mean, just right now, you guys, when I watched him explain his story again, it made me reflect of how busy I really am when it comes to this and how I really do. Because like anybody knows in the background of how busy I am, they know it's literally as soon as I'm up, I'm working. And as soon as I'm done working, I'm going to bed, trying to get a little bit of sleep, whether it's in between those or whatever. And I'm sitting here just now in my car going, man, not for like a marriage or anything, but for me, I'm sitting here just now going, man, I do need to make sure that I set aside just a little bit of time for personal, I really do. And that's what so it is a good message, what you can take from it what you will in whatever aspect of your life, and then for it to be manipulated, twisted, and then promoted as something else. And then you have to go through all of those flying monkeys, so to speak, like Ann says. Speaking of, we'll be having her on later tonight. It's what I'm saying. Like, this is why there's going to be a multi-part and
you're cutting
topic
out a little.
is because it's freaking mobile hotspot. Is it still?
That almost sounded better, but I didn't hear the end of what you said. So sorry.
All right, sorry.
Sorry, everyone.
I mean, the mobile hotspot says it's good. Yeah, sorry.
That did sound better, though.
on. Maybe if I shut the camera off. Because I
doesn't-
think that kind of, hold on. Does it?
Yeah, that's not. Can everybody hear? That sounds better for me.
Is it? Is it the camera?
Maybe.
Is it the camera? Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't know it was cutting out like that.
It wasn't bad for a while, but just
Okay.
a bit.
Well, I was talking about, I was like reflecting on my own situation when it comes to, I'm not married or anything like that, but I'm saying like with how much I work, and I need to like set aside some personal time just, you know, for just to be away from work for a little bit, because I really do. That's all I do. So it was a good message, and no, I'm not married. It was a good, seriously, I work like I just said a minute ago, I literally wake up and work. I'm literally right at my desk within a few minutes. And I'm literally, other than, you know, like going grocery shopping or going to the store or taking a shower, while I'm eating, I'm at my desk doing work, you know? So that's all my life is really, is just work and sleep, but it's fine. And that's why I'm saying, like, I listened to this just now and I'm like, I need to set time aside for me, you know, because I'm married to myself. If you think about it, like,
yeah.
I'm married to myself, so I need to set time aside for me. So it was a great message, and it sucks that it was kind of twisted in a certain way. And then he not only felt everything that he should have felt, because, you know, with accountability, you need to, you know, be accountable, but to have that onslaught of a huge, like he said, 3 million. And when you're thinking about it, it's mostly female victims. And when you're talking that amount, and then they think that there's another guy out there being like a JP when he's not, that's, you know, that's hurt that doesn't need to exist, especially coming from somebody that is like JP. The wolf amongst the sheeps. All right, I'm gonna play this some more here. Sorry about the connection there. Hopefully it helps without the camera. Is it still okay so far?
It's good.
All right, maybe it's the camera. Okay.
So I log in a week later and I made a playlist, and I'm going to share with everybody real quick because I was just so out of it. But I saw the damage that had been happening. And this was my response here initially. So I'm going to play that video response real quick. 1 second.
How hard that can be on everybody. So my thoughts are with your family. I've never seen your account before, but I saw your bio. It said that you're a former bad husband. Well, my account's the exact same thing.
You have to go to YouTube.
I was a bad husband, and I've taken full accountability of every wrong decision I've ever made, every mistake I've made. And I'm sharing these stories in the hopes that it can help other marriages. Because you and I both know, anybody who's been married for a long time knows marriage is not a cakewalk. And I'm sharing those moments, those bad moments that people don't think about until it happens. And this particular video that you stitched, I was sharing what my mindset was back then. Is it wrong to think that way? Of course, but it does happen. And I'm just bringing awareness to that fact. And for the record, I agree with every single word you said in that video. You're absolutely right. And I've made countless videos saying the same thing.
I look like shit because my dad just died. And this is like the day after the funeral. And I thought he was talking about the cheating. That's why I said, yes, I do own up to that mistake. I thought he had everything in context. I didn't know that he just kind of took that snippet of me saying that you only see her as a mother. I didn't know that part. I thought he was just talking about the cheating, right? And I'm like, yeah, I did. I owned up to it, but I didn't know the full context of the story yet. Because again, I was just kind of getting back into the swing of things. But I was very respectful, and that was it. So the next video I posted was this.
Not too long ago, a creator by the name of the Rob Harvey stitched one of my older videos from 2020. It was a video where I was explaining my mindset I was at back in 2008 when I cheated on my ex-wife. Now, if you're new to my account, please understand that I've shared this story many a times. I've been very vocal about my mistakes in my marriage, and I'm sharing these stories so people can learn from my mistakes. All the comments about me being lazy, not a good enough husband are 100% right. Really, the purpose of these videos is to share my dating experience after my divorce, really, from 2016, and to share my mistakes that I made while I was married. I hope people learn from my mistakes and become better husbands. I've owned up to every single one of them, and I've taken full accountability. That ownership of accountability has gained the respect of thousands of women who are 72% of my following.
The very first video I saw from your page was the video on why you cheated, and I instantly felt my blood boil and was going to be really rude until I actually took the time to go through your page. And coming from someone that is currently going through this situation, I want to say thank you. I appreciate your ability.
Again, go to
take
YouTube if you want to see the
responsibility
videos
in
I'm
your
sharing to
own
everybody.
thoughts. I appreciate your ability to be raw and honest and open, and I appreciate your ability in accepting your own mistakes and not just blaming the other party.
So when I saw his stitch, I reached out to him with a video. I was very respectful. The guy has over 1 million followers. During this time, I kept getting flooded with just hate comments and attacks on my page. And again, I don't blame his followers. He's the one who spoke the words and they're listening to him. So I reached out to him and said, hey, let's talk this out. You only got a piece of the story and I'm being misrepresented. So let's talk this out. And he chose to go with insults. He said the video, oh, you're speaking about the video where you're pouting? So I knew I couldn't speak with him. And I'll own up to this. I did post some angry comments back at him, but that's outside my character. So I took him down. And anybody watching this TikTok, if you're watching this, I hope you are. I'm not mad at his followers. They're listening to him. He's gained a following. He's a great storyteller. And you know what? In a sense, I respect that. But he needs to be held accountable for the recklessness of labeling somebody inappropriately. Influencers with his following need to understand that his words have power and they can.
Okay, this is not a clone. When I'm talking about clones, I'm talking about people going in YouTube chats. It's another thing if somebody's making their own content, you know it's their face, you know it's their words, you know it's their channel, because when they go live, it's their face and it's their voice. And they're reacting live to comments that are in the live chat. I mean, I understand there's trolls out there, but this is a completely different situation. This is all up in people's faces. This is like I said, it's all right here and will be in the next few episodes.
Influence people to go one way or the other.
And I'm just going to tell you right now, if anybody wants to support this other person, then I'll just politely ask you to go continue to support them and not support me, because I don't want to be in the same support system that this RH is included in. I'm serious. Because to me, I don't need the dollar bill with that kind of energy behind that dollar bill. I don't need it because I don't want to be associated with this. I cover cases against stuff like this. And the last thing that I want to do is have any kind of energy of that around me. I really don't. And this is a general statement to anybody. And I'll even say this in my intro in my live tonight, because I mean it. Continue to support RH if I don't want the support. And if you support both of us, then go ahead and take my support and give it to RH, because I don't want to be anywhere near that kind of effort when it comes to victims out here that we're trying to help.
Yeah.
He doesn't condone it. His followers will attack the person he calls out.
Sorry, Rosie, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off the delay.
Oh, no, I just said good for you. Like, nothing important. Are you there? Oh, you're unmuted. Okay. CJ, is everything okay? Are you frozen or is it just me? Sorry, everyone. It's a technically challenging day. I'm sure CJ will be back as soon as he can.
I don't know what's going on. I don't understand why it keeps doing this. I never had this issue when I did this before, so I don't understand what the problem is. I apologize. I feel really bad.
No, we understand. We do.
If I have to, I might have to take just a few minute break to switch up some things. Okay, but let me try and keep going. If it continues to happen, then I'm just going to take a 5-minute pause and get stuff switched around. Okay.
And his refusal to talk to me about this, I'm assuming only because it's one of his best performing videos and he's enjoying the clout. This is bullying. This is exactly what it is. He knows his status, he knows his platform, he knows he can get away with these things, and it's not right. So TikTok, all I'm asking is this: make sure you hold your creators with that type of following at a higher standard, and just hold them accountable for reckless behavior. Make them understand that their words can have some damaging consequences to some influencers out there. Luckily, I can take it, but there's some that couldn't, and that needs to be discussed. Please hold them accountable. Do better.
And this next one is the very last video I had spoken about him. This is like, I guess, July of last year. And I'm more angry in this video because I felt I was being civil and I was hoping this whole thing would just end. His video was shared over 100,000 times, and Kaylee's video was shared over 1 million times. So I had other female creators, all these feminist groups, making videos, making things up. The rumor got so bad. The last I heard is that this guy cheated on his wife while she was pregnant and had cancer. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? That's not anywhere near the realm of reality, but that's what they were arriving at. And people were seeing that my dad had died, and many of his followers were celebrating my father's death. And this is like 2 weeks after my dad is in the ground. So my dad was my hero. And I just want to add this real quick because I've been, I guess, attacked by other creators and it's never bothered me. The reason this bothers me so much and I'm so triggered by it is because, again, as I said earlier, my dad had dementia. He had it for 5 years. And my dad, when he was in his younger days, and still up until he couldn't walk anymore, he was a holy man and he would pray for people. Families from all over San Antonio would mail him letters or they would call him. He would go pray for them and he'd help people. And one of the last conversations my dad had with me was that he was proud of me because I was helping people like he was. And then his mind went. So that's one of the last conversations I had with my dad. And for this motherfucker to almost ruin my brand and destroy me and have his followers celebrate his death, it triggers me. But yeah, it brought in months of hell. Months of hell for me, my family. I had women saying that we're going to call CPS, these angry feminists. We're going to call CPS and get your kids taken away from you, you misogynistic so-and-so. Like, I don't hate women. What are you talking about? That's all I was getting. Your father deserved to die. All these things. So this is where I'm angry. And this is my last video.
Wow.
Oh, I'm not this type of creator. I don't attack other creators or start drama. It's a waste of time, in my opinion. But when a large
no,
creator
he wasn't a
like
pastor.
the Robbie Harvey
He was just a
purposely changes a circumstance.
Same thing for me. I don't, like I always tell people, go look for yourself. I'm not about doing this either. But if you're in the middle of this episode and you didn't get to check out the intro, check out the intro because I explain exactly where I'm coming from and why we're doing these shows that we're doing. I wanted to make that clear too, because we're not about it either, because we're not about the mudslinging. And this isn't mudslinging. This is called awareness. And so if you missed the intro, please check it out because it is a special message of where I'm coming from.
That's all I was getting. Your father deserved to die. All these things. So this is where
That's
I'm angry.
horrible.
And this is my last video.
That's so horrible.
Oh, I'm not this type of creator. I don't attack other creators or start drama. It's a waste of time, in my opinion. But when a large
no,
creator
he wasn't a
like
pastor.
the Robbie Harvey
He was just a man who
purposely
prayed the whole
changes
man.
the
He was,
circumstances of my story, more or less exploiting it, painting me in this certain narrative for his benefit and for his demographic, that's where I have a problem.
She's exhausted from being a stay-at-home mom. She needs help. She needs you to step up.
I will own all day that I was a bad husband. But the fact that you say I didn't step up as a father or a parent, that's where I get insulted. And again, keep in mind, I reached out to him and I was very respectful with every one of my responses until he insulted me. And these are the comments that followed.
Y'all can, let's see here.
More or less at that
All right. So, well, here, let me see if he reads it out.
point, I knew I was wasting my time. He wasn't going to listen to me. He got what he wanted. He got the engagement, he got the views, and he's moving on. On the other hand, was still getting bombarded by thousands and thousands of hate comments from his followers. So I made this response video. And in this response video, somebody who had a bad experience with him, a personal experience with him last October, spoke out.
Okay, and I want to stop there. Casey, right here. Casey reached out to me, and Casey went public yesterday with her story. I'm just going to go ahead and read what she has here. This is, again, last July of 2020. She says, Rudy, I've had a very terrible personal experience with Robbie Harvey through DMs. I haven't blocked, but he's not good news. That's all I'll say. I go, this is my first experience with him. Needless to say, it was very disappointing. I'm sorry.
And I'm going to say right now, I also have gotten emails in the last couple weeks of people telling me how he has wronged them as well. These are totally real.
You went through that. She says, he scares me. I'm healing from an abusive marriage, and he used that at his advantage. He asked explicit questions and told me I should cheat on my husband. I'll likely delete my comment, but I don't want the wrath of his followers, is what she says.
Last October, spoke out. This didn't make him happy, and this is what he said. Be aware, I've saved this video. This is the definition of slander.
Go ahead.
And will be happy to move forward if needed. I replied, you brought this upon yourself. According to her, she's been terrified of your wrath for months to come forward. The truth always comes out, and I cannot wait till she tells her story. It goes on to say, I shared a video that you created. You created it. And your response is to share, in quotation marks, a stranger's story about me. Keep in mind, he said,
he called her a stranger. So he's lying. It wasn't a stranger, and we have proof of the conversation he sent her. He saw this video and then sent her an IM through IG, and she made that public yesterday. I'm going to share that in a bit. But notice he's already...
Sometimes he doesn't even tell you. There's other content creators out there that have emailed me and said, I've just sent him information so he could hear a conversation. Next thing you know, he's posting it and he doesn't even credit me. And then won't even return my messages after I ask him about it. It's ridiculous.
Already caught line here.
Strangers. He says, I welcome it. Absolutely welcome it. But understand, I will do whatever is needed legally. I gave an opinion of your video. No, you didn't. You changed the narrative. And he says, you're threatening beyond opinions. I then replied, said, I've made 0 threats. I'm only standing up for a woman's story. Isn't that?
See why I told you in the beginning? And like I said, if you're coming into the middle, what's up, everybody? Check out the intro and where I'm coming from. And like I said, he says things a certain way to make you think something. But if you break down the words, and like I said, the last episode that we're doing, I'm going to break it all down. And you know how I break shit down. When you listen to how the words are spoke, when you're not paying attention, oh man, oh gosh, oh man. And then when you do pay attention, you're like, oh, you're pretty crafty. So he can respond to people, like I said in the beginning, he can respond to people and say, I didn't necessarily say that. It's manipulation at its finest. Mm-hmm.
What you claim to do. And that's when he blocked me. And in hindsight, now that I think about it, with all the hate that's been slung at my account and all the damage he's done to my brand, keep in mind that video had 1.6 million views. All of that was worth it if it gave this woman the opportunity to share her story.
And that's the last I spoke of it, right? It's now Casey, again, she was still terrified last year about sharing her story with Robbie. And that's her story. I wasn't going to talk about it anymore ago, but when you do share it, let me know and I'll support you. I'll share it. I'll stitch it. I'll do whatever you want. Because what she told me was that, well, I'll have her tell it. I'm not going to tell it. I'll have her tell it. Let me just get up her video real quick. Hold on 1 second. So this is her. She shared this yesterday. Again, he saw my video and the screenshots I shared with Casey, and this is him freaking out, creating an account on IG and sending her this message. And I'm going to read it, okay? And listen to the gaslighting on this son of a bitch, man. He's sick in the head. You go, it's Robbie. When someone sent me what you said, ... He even has the dramatic pauses in his fucking text. I was stunned. I honestly considered you my friend. I thought she was a stranger. You lying fuck. I'm sorry. I gotta. I'm just happy. Okay. And I'm glad he's getting his. I share private things about my marriage with you and was happy to help in any way I could. And then, dramatic pause, I worried he's using his wife for views. I have to say, I don't even know how to respond to that. Before my wife got cancer, I had over 600 million views. I don't need my wife to suffer to be successful. I don't need my kids watching their mom lose their hair so I can get views. The truth is my wife saw me, this cracks me up. The truth is my wife saw me getting depressed and she said, be creative during this process. Your wife is battling cancer and she's telling you to go be creative. Sure, whatever. Tell my story so others can have hope. At the same time, I will help you heal and deal. I'm worried about you, so dramatic pause. So do what you do. Yet I see your comments. Okay. You were truly my friend. I thought he said stranger. Truly, truly my friend. And I'm sorry you feel the way you do. By the way, this is a private account. Anything you say about me publicly, I won't send my followers after you. I just want you to know my feelings about your comments. I'm sorry you feel the way you do, and I wish you well.
So one of the reasons why I'm doing it as a members only is one of these reasons right here. And so with him saying that, with me kind of explaining things in the beginning and then showing you some of this stuff right now, I want you guys to understand, because I'm speaking up the way that I'm speaking up, I want you guys to understand that there might be some of these monkeys flying in here into our live chats to try and create distractions and misinformation and all sorts of stuff. So I want to give you all a heads up that this could be very possible just because I'm speaking up. Just like other people speak up and then they get attacked to try and silence them. Okay? So please be aware, in the future, there might be some of that coming to our live chats. Now, me and the angels, we do a really great job trying to make sure that none of it comes and most of it won't. I'm just saying you might see a little bit slipping in here and there, okay? Because we give you 150 trying to protect you guys, even in the live chats. But I want you guys to understand, this will get out. This will get out that I'm talking about it. This will get out that I'm bringing awareness about it. This will get out about what Rude Advice is talking about. And I just want you guys to understand, these are tactics that this person uses to silence other people so he can continue his own narrative, just like a lot of these other people do, even JP.
So that is him reaching out to her after the video that I had made. And again, just look at the gaslighting. And how he's trying to make her feel bad for not coming forward. And what she told me was, let me see if there's a video that she shared. I don't think she did, but what she told me was that, and you know what, her talking to me, it really gave me perspective, because I never understood how, I guess, the mindset of somebody in that situation was. But Casey had shared with me that she was in an abusive marriage for a long time, and any male figure in her life was really just harmful to her. So she shares her story on TikTok, and this guy, the opportunist that he is, he stitches a video, and then he messages her, and he says, I love your story. By the way, I'm building a website, and I would love for you to be part of it. He doesn't pay her. He just says, I would love for you to be part of it. Apparently, narcissists like to use people for free labor. I didn't know that. I don't know. I'm not an expert on narcissism. So she starts working with him. They're DMing privately about the website, sharing passwords and such. And then he brings up that he's a photographer, and he starts sharing with her inappropriate pictures, naked pictures of his wife. And he's also saying that your husband's mean that you should cheat on him. He's trying to promote her to cheat, and she's a woman of moral character. And she goes, it made her sick to hear that somebody that she looked up to begin, because again, this is the first male figure that's ever been positive in her life that actually listened to her and to listen to tell her story. So she was devastated when he started going that route. And then he would bring up sex, and he would say, do you think of me when you're sleeping with your husband? And she's right now trying to get those screenshots resurfaced. She went to IG to get some IT people to see if she can get those. But I believe her. I totally believe her. And that's when she's kind of severed ties with him, because, again, it was getting too inappropriate, and she felt like another man is just taking advantage of me. So I felt bad for her, and she was also fearful of him. And that was her story. And she says, I'll share it when I want. I'm like, perfect. And she shared it yesterday. And that's him. And again, that's how she and I connected. And I'm proud of her for coming forward and telling her story. And let me go ahead and just share and then on top of that, Casey shared her video yesterday, and another TikTok creator apparently was speaking with another TikTok model. And apparently Robbie has been talking and flirting with this woman for almost a year. And she put out a five video series out, and I'm going to share that with everybody so you can see. Yes, karma is. And I feel great. I'm glad he was called out. Cody, yeah, you too. Cody's a good friend of mine. I said it over a year ago. What kind of skeletons does this guy have in his closet to act this way? Motherfucker had a cemetery in there. Yeah, he did. So I want to give full credit to this particular TikToker. That girl, Bomb Pop is her name. And she more or less brought the goods. She brought the screenshots, and I'm going to play every single one of them in its entirety. Okay, so here's video one.
I've been sitting on this overnight because my internet wasn't working last night, which really pissed me off. But anyway, I was contacted by a woman last night who sent me a bunch of screenshots.
Messing around on his wife.
Against Robbie Harvey. This woman has been having
Go to YouTube if you want to see the
Robbie
videos.
over the past year. He approached her first, just trying to be like a nice, trustworthy guy because she was following his TikToks. But what narcissists do is they lure you in by, being nice and appropriate, and then they start talking to you a lot because they know how to target vulnerable people. She has been a victim of narcissistic abuse before in her life, and narcissists are very good at sniffing that out. What they do is then gradually over time, they will start trying to cross your boundaries by including like sexual innuendo and things like that just to see how you react. If you react well to it, then they know they got a live one, and they know that you are someone that they can manipulate. It is very clear that he does that in his messages with her. She wants to remain anonymous. I don't want any hate or any judgment going against her because we all know how easy it is to be like exploited by a narcissist. But she did say that I can say a few things about her. She's a content creator on this app and many platforms. She is super beautiful. She's married. She's around.
She has since come forward. We know who she is now, and we'll get to that in a bit.
At my age, and just physically speaking, in my opinion, she would be like Robbie's type. So
Yeah,
here
go
come
to
the
YouTube.
screenshots. I was going to include like every single thing.
Rude
but some of
Advice
them
is the
just, there
channel.
isn't enough
The link's
juice
in my
in there, and
bio.
I really want to get these out there. So I'm just going to start showing you guys everything. I'm including this one just because it was the first time he ever contacted her, July 30th, 2022 at 2:12 p.m. He just basically says, girl, I don't ever look at my mentions, and I clicked right away when you shared, love your page. So basically coming.
This is, again, 3 weeks after he made the video calling me out. Okay, I just want to make, I want to make note that this is 3 weeks after his video that he made of me. What a piece of shit.
In with a compliment right away. That's how it started. You guys can pause to read on these ones. There's not much juice in them. He's just trying to get to know her. This is in the same like conversation. Again, just trying to get to know her. Then there wasn't a conversation for like a couple months, and he reaches out again in September and he says, hey friend, I don't know what's going on, but just want to say I'm praying for you. Hard times suck as I'm experiencing myself, but you got this. So clearly she posted some kind of video where she was having a hard time, and that entices narcissists because they know that you are vulnerable. And so of course that is why he reached out. He also wants to remain relatable and gain her trust. So he talks about how he lost his job. Now we're going to move up a bit. So this is in February of this year. So it just shows they've been talking all that time in between. At this point, he has like sufficiently gained her trust and feels comfortable sending sexual innuendo. So he says, this is TMI, but my wife just had a good O. I'll never understand how that feels for her. No man will, but whatever. Just to be clear, Robbie is privately messaging another woman about his wife's orgasms, and he wants this woman to know how good he makes his wife feel.
Okay, real quick, for those who are on TikTok,
we're back with Robbie Harvey.
He mentions in this chat to this woman who's not his wife, he's saying, I gave my wife a big O last night. And more or less is, as this woman's breaking down in the video, is that, yeah, he is trying to show this person in so many words how good he is in bed. He's trying to kind of hype that part up. He's having an inappropriate conversation with another woman who's not his wife, who has cancer, by the way. What a son of a bitch.
Harvey's private messages between him and another woman. Let's continue on. This is May 23rd of this year, so not very long ago. He says, I'm thinking about going after Tizzy, LOL. He's created 3 videos about my wife's school over the past 6 months, all lies. Look him up on TikTok. If I went after him, he would probably go crazy and try to dig so much dirt on me. I hate confrontation. It gives me anxiety. I'll get in someone's face if I have to, but I don't like being that way. I want you guys to remember while looking at these screenshots that these are a conversation he's having with another very attractive woman, confiding in her, offering her private information, and everything he says, there's a purpose for why he's saying it. What I've noticed in a lot of conversations with her is, and narcissists do this, they try to do this whole thing of like, it's us against the world. So like, me and you are crazy. We do crazy things. Nobody else gets it. And they want to gain your trust by telling you things that maybe they wouldn't tell other people. Like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this
anytime.
thing. It's also
This
very
guy
revealing when he
screwed
says,
me over,
he would try to
and
dig
I'm
up
glad
so
he's
much dirt
getting
on me
his.
because
He's a son
what
of
are
a
you
bitch,
hiding, Robbie?
and
You're
karma is a
obviously
bitch,
afraid
and you
of
got it.
someone finding dirt on you. And just another example of him wanting to go after other men to make himself look better. Now, this one, you guys, this is where it gets really bad because you're going to see
Listen to this part.
what Robbie
This
Harvey's
blows
true
my mind
intentions
here.
are on his page as he brags about how much money he's making. May 25th, he says, yep, I'm averaging about around 220 a day. Combined with Facebook, I made 1,700 on Tuesday. She doesn't respond. So a few days later,
Lady, 3,000 in one day. He's bragging about the money he's making with this to this other woman.
he reaches out again saying, lady, $3,000 in one day. Just in case this hasn't hit you yet, Robbie Harvey is bragging to another beautiful woman in his messages about the money he's making off of your victim stories. How does that make you feel? That
in the red pill space, he's leading with his wallet.
And how much do you think he's making off of Micah's case? Think about it, everybody. Have you heard of any of these other cases that are being mentioned? Have any of you?
No.
And if he's making that much money off of those, imagine what he's making off of Micah. And I'm out here, boots on the ground, really physically talking to people, being an ear, being a hand, doing everything I can to be here 150%, not only for the Francis family, but for the community as well, because the community is hurting too. It's the wolf amongst 100,000 sheep. You could find Where's Waldo before you found that wolf. Imagine how much money he's making off of Micah. And then the fact that he gets to promote that he's working with the family, which the family told me is as soon as I started the conversation, we talked for hours. Me and Michael and Abigail all together. And I said, you know, at one point in the conversation, I said, is there anything that you want me to stress to my community on your behalf? You know, what do you want me to stress to the community on your behalf? And they said, number one, please let everybody know that we don't work with anybody. If we work with anybody, it is our attorney or somebody from the family. And both Michael and Abigail stressed it multiple times. Each of them multiple times stressed, we just want people to know that we're not working with anybody. And the only time we're going to speak on behalf, or the only time we're going to tell anybody what we're doing, it's either going to be to the attorney or it's going to be one of our family members. So when somebody's able to promote that they're working with the family to raise money, that's clout, people. That's clout. Because what if I sat there and I mentioned, hey guys, guess what? I know stuff that the FBI is telling me, and I'm working with the family for a donation for them. Do you know how much clout that's going to bring somebody? CJ would blow the fuck up. If I'm telling people that did I send something to the FBI? Yeah, I sent something to the FBI. I'm not working with them. They're not going to tell me, hey, CJ, guess what? Tell everybody that we're investigating True Crime Re now. Imagine the money this dude's making. Imagine all the victims out there, especially the female victims that are sucked into this dude's web, that are showing all this support, giving all this support because they think this person is doing the right thing. Just like the people in the congregation that were giving donations for programs thinking JP was doing it for the right thing. And you see how those trolls out there in the congregation come after us at the protest. That's why I'm saying, and that's why I gave you a heads up, these trolls will be coming for me. I understand this. But to me, I have the shield, and this is why I am able to do what I'm doing, because I have the shield that can block that shit. I can handle those storms. But sometimes during those storms, when they are real strong and I'm given all the energy that I can give, that's where I need you. That's where I need you to come up behind me and hold me up so I can continue to hold that shield when I don't have enough energy. And sometimes when I don't have enough energy, it's not being able to be out in these other YouTube shows, in these other chats, where these trolls can then continue a narrative or create a narrative to a community that might not know about us, that might have just checked us out. And then all of a sudden, they're manipulated too. It's a tactic that they use. And so that's why I'm saying, if you're in another show's chat, because I can't be everywhere at every moment, because those are the times where I'm really tired, okay? And I have to focus on that shield. That's when I need you guys to be there and say, no, that's not true, troll. That's not true, so-and-so. This is what CJ's like. This is how CJ is. This is what CJ's about. Because they're going to try and discredit everything about me because I'm bringing attention, just like this gentleman is here through his story. Just be careful and understand. Like I was telling the ones in the Sebastian Rogers case, you guys spend enough time with me. You know who I am. You know what I'm about. Just let these people know, because you guys know this is going to come. Watch. Because the word's going to get out, and in the next couple days, it's already going to be out there that I'm bringing this up and that it's a discussion, and then the attention's going to come, and then that's when the trolls are going to be released out of their cages. And they're going to be flying out there mad as hell because they haven't been out in a while and they're feeding off of somebody else's blood.
Well, I think this community is happy to do that for you.
And I appreciate it. I really do, because that's why I say it's a community effort, because really, I couldn't do this without you guys. Support, contributions, love, dedication, any of it. I couldn't do any of this without you guys. I need you. And I will always need you. I've always need you. I understand before I even started this how much I would need the community. You all showed me when I created my show the power of community and how much I need you. One of the reasons I work so hard is because I never want to lose this community, because what the community did when I first started my show. It's a fear of mine. And it's a fear that drives my soul to just try and do the best that I can do. Because when this community goes away, maybe all of the peace and the positivity and all the progressive approach that I have might go away too. Because when I started this show, I was in such a depressed state because I needed that. And you all brought it to me, and you all have helped. And I'm telling you right now, it's one of the most driving factors that I have, is because I never want this community to go away, because I never want to lose what the community helped me through.
And we appreciate you the same way as well. And people in chat say they've got your back, so
I appreciate it, really. It's going to come. You guys know it. And I play chess, and I already know the chess move. I already knew this chess move. This is my first move. I already know the next few moves after that. And I know the opponent's move too. When you play chess, you don't only explore your own few moves that you're going to do, you also explore the moves of your opponent. And I already know what's coming. That's why I'm giving you guys a heads up, and I really do appreciate your support, because you all know I'm going to need it more than ever. Definitely. But this is for Micah. This is all for Micah, because if it wasn't for Micah, I don't know if I'd be having this members live, honestly. You know, maybe later on down the road or something. But this right here, this is, all of it is for Micah. Because you guys know why. I'll share the link in the chat again. Please go show Rude Advice some love. Go sub to him if you're not subbed. Leave some hearts and trophies. Tell him thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for your information. You know what? I should try and reach out to him, and maybe we can have a show together. You know what I'm saying?
that would be good. Yeah.
Or if you guys want to drop some comments, hey, come on CJ sometime or something. Definitely. Because members only, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe we'll do that with a live. I don't know. But this isn't just about this information. I'm also going to show you in a future episode. I'm going to be breaking down their own video and showing you how it's nothing but lies, and it's based off of the words that you don't notice because of the emotion in the music and the emotion behind what's being displayed on camera. It's hard to see it. It's hard to notice it, like it is that wolf amongst the 100,000 sheep. It's hard to see it, but I'm going to show you guys. We're going to get a scope and I'm going to zoom in on it and I'm going to show you so you all can see it too.
Because he's got nothing else to offer.
White, middle-aged, Christian conservative narcissist is bragging to another woman when he's married that he's making money off of you, all while pretending to be the nice, safe guy that you can trust.
I'm going to repeat that, ladies. If you have any doubt about his character, listen to this again.
Bragging to another woman when he's married that he's making money off of you, all while pretending to be the nice, safe guy that you can trust. He's not doing it for money. No.
You have to go to YouTube.
He goes on, I have to wait until tomorrow, but I had 3 videos go viral last night, and I think I made $1,000 yesterday on TikTok. He goes on, I hope I did about 3 to 4 million views. He's very, very, very concerned with the amount of views he gets, how many people are following him, how much money he's making. That's why he's doing this. Stay tuned for part 3, because in the next one, actually, I'm going to upload these all at the same time. In the next one, we are going to see more sexual innuendo from him toward her, and it's all so appalling.
Oh, this is a good one. I didn't know this. Ashley, okay. My husband has known him for 12 years. Okay. And they used to be close friends. My husband has stepped back after realizing his fake TikTok fame went to his head. But of course it did. My husband says he has always been very boastful. Yeah, you can see that in his character. And you can actually see it in the messages. There's plenty more. There's plenty more. We haven't even got started yet, folks. Okay, there's plenty more. But yeah, he's always come off that way.
Wait till I break his video.
He brags to my husband how much money he makes and sends him screenshots. Really? Wow. Okay, everybody on TikTok who doesn't see this, I have a woman here who's saying that her husband was friends with him, or still is, and he boasts about how much money he makes to his friends as well. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Oh, yeah, pretty much. You know, I think Tiffany's his wife. I feel bad for her, but you know what? The more I hear about him and the more we see on these videos on him, that's 2 videos. There's like 4 more to go. I don't think he gives a shit about his wife. I truthfully don't. Maybe there's a piece of him who cares about his wife, but I think the fact that she got cancer, I think he saw that as a golden opportunity to exploit it, like he's exploiting every other woman out here, and kind of just gain sympathy. Oh, look at my wife. She's got cancer. And I know he milked it for what it's worth. It's sad to say, but I think he's using her as a prop. Because I don't care if my loved one got cancer and she's telling me to be creative. No, she's my sole vision. She's my attention. I couldn't go create. No, I couldn't fucking do that shit. So again, oh my God. Anyway, let's continue here.
Part 3 of Robbie Harvey's secret messages with another woman who is essentially a victim. And I want you guys to remember that the reason Robbie Harvey is so dangerous is not only for the shit he posts, but for the way that he is making women think that he's a trustworthy guy. But we can clearly see that behind the scenes, he is going after these women and trying to form relationships with them. And these are women who have been abused in their past. This is incredibly dangerous and fucked up. So we're going to start seeing more sexual innuendo now. So
here comes the sexual innuendo.
They are talking about OF and some of the guys that subscribe on there. Robbie says, I mentally can't process being that low. Like, I just can't. Like, at a strip club, they at least touch you. It's hard for me to understand, I guess, because my wife is a hottie and amazing and does amazingly in bed. But I get that because I'm good to her. It requires work. So I don't get the laziness of, I'd rather pay a stranger to rate my pics instead of seeing my wife naked. One thing I really want you guys to understand is that even though Robbie Harvey references his wife in every conversation, this is still sexual innuendo with another woman. And the reason why he's referencing his wife is because he knows he's married and he knows that this woman knows he's married. So the only way that he can, get sexual innuendo across to her is by using his wife as a prop to do that. But his motive in saying these things is to cross boundaries with this woman.
Hold on real quick. Again, for those who are on TikTok, I have somebody here whose husband is friends with Harvey. She says, I'm not close to her, but I feel I should tell her, just praying honestly. That's a good question. I mean, I know there's a lot of women watching. Should she tell her? I think she knows by now at this point. I mean, it's about to go viral. Anybody starting to create videos or go live and share this. So I'm pretty sure she knows. But yeah, that's a valid point.
Woman to see how she will react. And because she's not getting pissed or saying, I don't feel comfortable with this, he's like, oh, good. Okay, I got a live one. Perfect. Here's another horrific example of sexual innuendo. He says, lady, listen to this.
Lady.
My sister-in-law was in town with her husband, and they always stay with us when they are. So I take my son to his football game, and when we get back at 9 p.m., my brother-in-law is gone. So I ask, where is he? He went to dinner somewhere. And I'm like, by himself? Leaving you here? She asks a question about it. He responds, nope. I enjoy BJs, and I don't get them by going off late at night to do what I want.
He's telling
so
this woman he
using
enjoys
a
BJs.
story of where a guy did something that he would never do, because again, he wants to make himself look like the nice guy. But then he says, the reason I don't do those things is because I want to get BJs. And not only that, he's talking about BJs with another woman. And when she sent me these screenshots, she told me she has been feeling so fucked up over this. Now listen to this, guys. This is fucking rich. But it's insanity, the disrespect men have towards their marriage. He says this while he's messaging another attractive woman. I go to bed with my wife. I eat dinner with her and the kids. She always knows where I'm at. It's not because she wears the pants. It's because I have respect for her. Does she know that you're in another woman's DMs talking about how much you like BJs? This is fucking outrageous. Like, this is one of the most appalling things I've ever seen in my life. If you guys are not convinced up to this point.
And there's more. Video 4.
Back with part 5 of these
Part
horrifying,
5.
disgusting, appalling messages between Robbie Harvey and another woman who is a victim. Let's continue. So we left off with him bragging that he came from nothing and now he made $20,000 in the month of June. Why do you think his amount of money has gone up so much in June?
And you see now, again, it's tough to believe people online, but Ashley, you said something before it went public right here in the space that you were saying that he sends screenshots to your husband that boasting about the money he makes. He's boasting to this woman here. So there's a common trait. So there's a connection.
And it's because he's been talking about the Kasanoff case. He's using this poor family to make money. And now he's bragging about it to another woman in private messages. He goes on to brag, I never doubted myself. I knew I could have a hot wife. I knew I could have everything I wanted. And I did it on my own.
This piece of shit.
She responds and he says, because people don't want to work. Oh, he's one of those, just like fucking Kim Kardashian. When I got out of college, I had 5 jobs, literally 5. I worked from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Wow, shut up, Robbie. He just goes on to say some degrees he's had. He says, anyways, you got me on a rant, LOL. Well, I just get fired up thinking about men. Yes, I hate that your father sucked. I had to figure out how to be a man all by myself, which is why I sucked at it for so long, but I kept trying. So even though I can't show her responses, it's very clear that she has also shared very vulnerable.
Just the way he's trying to be the nice guy and say, I hate men. It's sickening. It's hilarious as well.
Vulnerable stories about her own life, which is what narcissists want, because then they know that they got a very vulnerable person who has had a hard life. This is, a woman who's been exploited and abused. And these are the types of women that Robbie is going after. And this is why he's dangerous. He says something like, I had to be a man all by myself, which is why I sucked at it for so long, but I kept trying. And you're still sucking at it because you are private messaging another woman while you're married. Oh, and I have a hot wife. Again, with the hot wife. Like, are you fucking kidding, Robbie? Like, you've never said anything else about your wife except that she's hot. And now you're bragging about it to another gorgeous woman in secret DM. Okay, I'm done. Men suck. You were right. 98.2% of them. And you're surely in that 98.2%, Robbie. I can't. The hypocrisy of narcissists is absolutely shocking. And they're hairy. I am too. But they're ugly hairy. This is narcissist's way of flirting. And it's honestly like so hilarious to me. Now check this one out, guys, because this shows Robbie's real motive. Okay?
This is his real motive. Now, this is where it comes. This is what he was trying to do. It took him a year to get here, but this is what he was trying to do.
Where do you live? She responds. He says, I'm going to be in New York in a few weeks, and I was going to make you meet up if you were close. Hold up. Pause. Now we're on the let's meet up level. You think this is Robbie's first time doing this?
No.
Fuck no.
No. More women are going to come out.
This is what he does. This is all narcissists cheat. This is what narcissists do. This is what they do. Gain their trust, cross the boundaries, exploit them, try to get them to meet up with you. Luckily, she didn't take the bait. She didn't even answer his question about meeting up, thank God. But we're back with part 6. This is
part 6. I actually haven't seen this one, so I'm interested.
I didn't even put makeup on or do anything to put these out because I just needed. I feel such an urgency to put these out. I just wanted to go back a step because I think I forgot to
Somebody
add
on
this
TikTok
one, but,
tell her what's going on.
When Robbie Harvey
and again,
was
if you want to
explaining his victim story, he says, but at some point he does
see the videos,
something.
go ahead.
In the past, my father was a POS. He taught me nothing, and I was homeless because of him.
Go to Rude Advice.
Get up, fight, take what you deserve. Then he goes on to the I won't go public with this until my father dies thing. I just thought that was worthy of mentioning, like his mindset. Now, after she basically doesn't respond to him asking her to meet up, he says, yes, been there before, but blank, which is essentially like the area that she lives in, is for the mentally unstable. And that's why you're so crazy. He wants to remind her that she's just crazy and unstable enough to meet up with him. She responds a bit.
Wait, I gotta play this again. I'm sorry. I'm gonna play this back.
Then he goes on to the "I won't go public with this until my father dies" thing. I just thought that was worthy of mentioning, like his mindset. Now, after she basically doesn't respond to him asking her to meet up, he says, yes, been there before, but blank, which is essentially like the area that she lives in, is for the mentally unstable. And that's why you're so crazy. He wants to remind her that she's just crazy and unstable enough to meet up with him. Wow. She responds a bit. He says, oh, listen, I'm crazy. See this Kasanoff case. They think I'm doing this for views. I'm literally doing this to break the system. No, you're not, Robbie, because you've spent all this time explaining how much fucking money you're making. Yep. $20,000 just in the month of June. Wonder how much of that went to the Kasanoff family or
zero.
Anybody, just zero. Anybody who you're exploiting. And reminder, these messages were all within like the past week. Okay. Now this one is from like a few days ago. It says yesterday, but it was probably from a couple of days ago, right after he got called out. So he says, I got so many people coming after me. It's discouraging. He wants her to be like the sounding board for all his bullshit. He wants her to co-sign on his bullshit. I've known a guy like this before. Literally, like, he got a girlfriend and stopped speaking to me. And I have a boyfriend too, so it doesn't matter. But like, we didn't talk forever. And then he randomly messaged me to tell me about some drama he was having with a mutual friend of ours because he wanted me to like side with him. And I didn't. I called him out just like she is about to. She says something like, well, do you really want to know my opinion? He says, oh, I do. I'd rather hear the truth.
Go there.
She essentially totally calls him out. He says, I know, but I just didn't understand what I was doing. You didn't understand, Robbie, why you're bragging about how much you're making and you're in another woman's DMs? Fuck. When I did the original video, I meant it as self-reflection. So someone cut the first part and just shared it. And it sounded awful. I didn't mean to victim blame, but it sounded like I did. She goes on to explain to him how he has like exploited women by putting like that survey ad MLM thing so that he could benefit from it. He says, I've turned down so much because it doesn't benefit women. So any ad I do, it has to benefit followers. He includes a screenshot of like one time that a company reached out to him and he turned them down. All the time. So if I did something wrong or could have done something better, I'm all for it. But go to my page. Look at all the videos about my wife, not just ones from years ago. Look at all of them. I'm truly sorry. We're back with part 6. This is just...
it's hilarious. And the ad they're talking about, I don't know if you've seen it. I'm going to play it real quick because it's hilarious. It's hilarious. And I have it on my video. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
They don't want them to have friends. They don't want them to have fun. They certainly don't want them to have money. So I found a way you can make good money. All you need is your phone. And this is perfect for stay-at-home moms or someone just simply looking to make extra money. So download the Surveys to Go app.
It's an ad. So he made an ad saying, ladies, I know you're trapped in a narcissistic marriage. You have no means of escape. You have nowhere to go. He's isolated you from friends, but I found a way for you to make money. Download this app. Oh my God. That's so bad. That is so bad. Oh my God. Anyway, back to the videos. It's so bad. Okay,
this to check in after
hold on. Let me go back here. So we're
all right. We have some more shit about Robbie. It just never ends. I'm going to share with you Casey's story. She sent me some screenshots.
Okay. 1 second here. Let me just go back up. Sorry, I'm sharing screens and I got like 4 screens open here, so bear with me. Hope you're enjoying this. I mean, yes, it is cringe. It is blatant, man. He knows he's got the trust of women who are just emotionally hurt, and he's manipulating them to download an app for his money. It makes me sick. It honestly makes me sick, man. Anyway, it's Jesus. Here's Casey again. Remember, I mentioned Casey earlier. We spoke last year. Anyway, she came forward, and this is a video, and she's going to talk about it real quick.
I do not believe I will die. I do not think I can. I'm going to college to major in being a medical miracle man. I will see how it all.
Okay, let me skip forward. I think there's more to this.
All right, I'm going to pause this here. I'm going to mute it and pause it again. If you want to see all these screenshots, we'll go through them in the future. But if you want to watch, here's the link to the video. Go show Rude advice some love. I dropped a comment on his video. Drop a comment and a like on his video. Show some support and love. there's the link. I'd love to have him on the show sometime and talk about this stuff. And instead of doing members, do like a live on it, so everybody can come in and just have the members just for you guys, so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, we definitely. I mean, this has been eye opening. We really do. I mean, just speaking for myself, I really, really understand a lot more now because I didn't before. I really didn't know the extent of any of this.
It's been, like I said, the last few weeks, it's kind of been eating at my soul.
Yeah.
And then as I was looking at the way things were worded without the confetti in front of my face, because I'll admit it, I had confetti in front of my face too about this individual. And when the confetti kind of dissipated after I came across, there's other stuff that we'll go through in the other episodes. Once I started seeing that and knowing and getting to know everybody in the community more and more people reaching out to me, sharing with me, and then at the same time having this in my soul, and then also seeing the manipulation that's also being done to the community. In Micah Francis's case, Micah Miller, Micah Francis, Micah Acacia Francis. And, you know, I don't even watch, and I didn't watch any of the other videos where he covered other topics. It was mainly, I'm so focused on Micah's case that I would just check out the Micah videos. And so, you know, I wouldn't be able to know who's saying what in another community of another case he might be talking about. But when it comes to the community here, and when it comes to everybody involved in Micah's case, I do know. You know, I do know the truth. And it was very disheartening. And so it was like a combination of different things inside my soul. And it was like, all right, we're going to have a members live about this. Because I can't just, you know, the first couple weeks, I was just telling people, look, I don't want to see the person's name in my chat. I'll delete it if I see it. You know, look for yourself. And then it just got to a point in my soul where I was like, I got to tell the family about it. I got to tell the closest family. I can't just tell people to continue to go look for it yourself. I need to show people and give them the links. And like I said, this is just one part. We'll have other parts coming up, and I am going to do a breakdown, just like I break down JP's videos to show you and help you see the BS that may be hidden because of fancy words and emotions and church music in the background and all this other stuff. It's my job, and I wouldn't be able to do what I did if I saw everything on the general surface. And it's my job and it's my duty to make sure that I continue to dig, always continue to dig, because things on the surface is just like the mirror, you know, on your car. Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. It's a manipulation, and I try and, just like I try and protect you all, I want to protect you guys, and this is a protection for you too, and for any of the other potential victims that may be out there that are going to be coming across this stuff. Because just because we're talking about it here in the members live, trust me, it will be a conversation after we're done out there. It'll start to get, the word will spread, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people, and then it's just about the awareness of it. And this part right here, this episode, we're just checking out root advice, a couple other things, and then in the next episode we're going to be going into some other things. So each episode is going to be its own unique episode, but the totality of it is going to tell the whole story of what I was meaning in my intro. Yeah, a lot of church music. Stinky, right? I appreciate you guys. Just a few minutes left of this, and then I'm going to play a couple small clips, and then I'm going to take a break, and we will be back tonight. We're having Ann on the show again, and we're going to be discussing the 911 call. We read the report. We're going to be discussing the 911 call on 5/1/2024, and we're going to be going into some other stuff as well. So I appreciate you guys for hanging out. And thank you for being a member. And thank you, Rosie, for hanging out with us today as well.
Of course.
Appreciate you guys.
Real quick.
I do not believe I will die. I do not think I can. I'm going to college to major and be in a medical miracle man. I will see how it all.
Okay, let me skip forward. I think there's more to this. We already covered.
Okay, so just a couple things I wanted to say. All right, we have some more shit about Robbie. It just never ends. I'm going to share with you Casey's story. She sent me some screenshots today that she wanted me to share. She had her dealings with Robbie in 2021. You will hear about that in what I'm about to read you. Essentially, she ended up realizing Robbie was not a safe person. She blocked him, but in 2022, he came across her For You page through a BetterHelp ad. It traumatized her. It made her have flashbacks of things that had happened. So she decided to reach out to BetterHelp. And of course, she never heard back. But these are those messages.
He had it coming, Amanda.
Very, very damning.
He
Anything that's blacked out is just private,
brand,
personal information that she does not want shared, and we are going to respect that. This was sent June 25th, 2022, so about a year ago.
So again, just to kind of summarize, Casey had blocked Harvey. Again, she's scared of him, and she's on TikTok, and she saw an ad with Harvey in it for Better Health. And this is her email to Better Health telling him what had happened. So again, I'm going to play the video.
Hello, Alan. My name is Casey, married for 16 years, a teacher and a mother to 5 children. I learned through some research that you are the founder of BetterHelp and wanted to reach out to make you aware of the behaviors of one of your sponsors on TikTok, Robbie Harvey. Now, I blacked out the next paragraph because it's pretty personal, but essentially she was just saying she was going through a vulnerable time in her life. During this time, around spring, summer 2021, I discovered Robbie Harvey's channel on TikTok and commented on one of his videos. He highlighted my comment, praising my testimony of faithfulness. That meant a lot to me, the recognition from a man and the validation I was so desperately seeking at the time. So I followed him, and he immediately followed me back. He began to message me back and forth, asking about my marriage with my husband. He then asked me if I would be willing to help him create a forum for abused women. He said he really needed my help and assistance with creating the forum and shared with me his usernames, passwords, etc. His following was growing close to 1 million around that time, and I felt honored to be asked by him that I really wanted to help women in similar situations as myself. I just wanted to highlight that I asked her if he ever offered to pay her. He did not. So this is another thing that narcissists will do. We are actually seeing that with the Colleen Ballinger. They will use vulnerable people that they can prey on for free labor. He then asked me if I had an Instagram account and if he wanted to share a picture of his wife and their new house with me. So I shared my information with him. On Instagram, he sent sexy photos of his wife he had taken, told me he and his wife talked openly about sex and that she was okay with him having women friends. He proceeded to ask me explicit questions about sex, if I thought of other men while I had sex with my husband, and if I had thought of him when I had sex with my husband. I remember him asking that question and how it made me feel. I stared at the screen for a long time, and when I replied, I changed the subject. It made me feel very uncomfortable, and then I began to question what his purpose was in asking me these questions. We've got more, so come back for part 2.
Referring to that Allen case, again, that's not my area. I don't follow criminal cases. I know nothing about that. But I did have a woman message me this past Sunday. I'll share the screenshots in a bit. She said that she was a nanny for that family. I don't know if she can prove it or not, but this is what she said.
And I'm going to pause it here. So for those who can't hear on TikTok, a woman claiming to be the nanny for the Kasanoff family in 2016, and she's still in touch with the nanny of that family, saying that Robbie is only taking a piece of the story. He's not telling the whole truth. So I'm going to read to you what she told me, okay? So she says here, Robbie H. Help. Hi, I just saw your videos on YouTube about your experience with Harvey. I'm not being attacked by him, but he is attacking Alan Kasanoff. I don't know if you've seen these videos. He lost his job because of Robbie's videos. I need to give you some context. I was a nanny for a year for the Kasanoff family in 2016, and I know them well. I am still in touch with them. Catherine, the wife, again, this is her words, not mine, okay? Catherine was a sociopath. She abused her daughters mentally, psychologically, and maybe even physically. And she says, I can't prove that last part. When she decided to take her own self, she publicly posted all these videos with some other court documents. only the one that made her a victim of the court system. Okay, only that one, and basically blamed it mostly on Alan. I know the real story. I know how abusive she was to the girls, especially their adopted daughter. The court made the best decision by giving the full custody to their father. A few psychiatrists in this divorce said that she shouldn't be around the children unsupervised. She continues to say, the thing is that Robbie used these videos and little pieces of information that he has on this case, which are only Catherine's point of view, by the way, and painted a picture of Alan as a terrible human being. She says, it drives me crazy to see all of this because I know the truth. I don't like when things are fair. I like it when things are fair, and it's clearly not because he knows nothing about the story. I tried messaging him on TikTok, but I don't think he will ever see my message. I also comment on his videos, but I get no responses. I don't really know what to do to have a voice in this mess, but since I've seen what you experienced with him, I was hoping you could help in a way. I'm sorry for the long message. I hope it was clear enough. Thank you. Have a good day. And then I responded, because I don't know anything about it. I'm like, okay, what proof can you provide that you were the nanny? And she goes, I have pictures. I have the affidavit I gave to Alan's lawyer about Catherine's behavior that I observed. I'm also in touch with the current nanny that came into the family after me, who gave her testimony. And I ended with this.
Now, to be honest, I wasn't going to share this, but something tells me I should. Maybe someone who's out there who knows more about the case can use this. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying I believe her. She said this to me. This is like one of hundreds of messages I received from women last week because of that whole fiasco he was going through. I wouldn't put it past him to take somebody's real tragedy, somebody's story, take a piece of it and only share that narrative for his financial gain. He did it to me because that's really the type of person he is.
Again, I'm not claiming she's telling the truth. I'm not claiming any of that. I don't know nothing about the case, but we're seeing patterns here, right? Everybody, we're seeing patterns. We're seeing patterns where he takes stories and only tells a piece of it. And that piece, coincidentally, is a piece that's going to trigger his audience and get a lot of responses. So what we have here in this content, this person who reached out to me, I told her I'll do one video, that's it. But again, I'm going to kind of distance myself from it. I don't know who the hell you are. You can be the guy. I don't know who the hell you are. She goes, I understand, but I'm going to create my own account and start sharing. So this woman, this nanny, is going to start sharing more evidence of the case. But again, I wouldn't put it past the son of a bitch to take a piece of somebody's tragedy and exploit it. He's made 20 grand off of this woman's death and this whole tragedy. He's not going to donate it to the family. I know he's not. We all know he's not, but that's what he's doing. And I just want to share this one last thing because again, he changed my story for his benefit. He may have changed this person's story, but I want to show you one last piece of evidence here. He has a podcast. I didn't know about this, but he has a podcast. And somebody that follows me was one of his first guests. And she goes, I have something to tell you. I'll go, wait, I'm just going to read what I'm sharing here. I go, wait, do you have a Robbie Harvey story? She goes, yes, from my experiences on his podcast. And I say, this motherfucker, because I don't know what she was going to say. She goes, how he asserted his dramatic storytelling over my story and didn't even let my words speak for me. He inserted his opinions over my reality and bashed my dad, whom I didn't say anything negative about. So he changed her story. I was essayed as a child, and my mom called me a liar and gave me a black eye before skipping town after the trial of one of these guys. My dad busted his ass to care for me and never turned his back on me. I took that personal. I looked yesterday and he removed the episode. So again, there's more proof that he is a fucking liar. I'm looking at the camera, be more dramatic. He's a fucking liar. He takes people's stories, changes it up, and takes what can give him money. I guess in closing, everybody, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to address some comments in a bit. But I am happy that this is happening, but I'm also upset maybe that it took this long. But what goes around comes around. Karma's a bitch. And the hell he put me through, and I'm pretty sure there's other people that can speak to this, but the hell he put me through, and to be so smug about it, that smug face that they were talking about, to be so smug about it, and not give a shit, knowing that he's potentially destroying somebody's livelihood and reputation after they've been working on it for years. The fact that he didn't give a shit and was just, the hell with you. And then he stitched Kaylee's video, and you can see his ass smirking. I'm so glad this happened to him. And I'm glad the truth is out, because I'm pretty sure now that these two women have come forward, more are going to come forward. I know these are not the only two. He's too arrogant and too all about himself just to have two women. He was trying to work with so many of them. I know for a fact it's just a matter of time. But yeah, I guess as a word of caution out there, just be careful who you listen to and who you take advice from. Because as content creators, we all know that if you want to get viral, you want to get a lot of engagement, say something that's triggering. Say something that'll piss people off to get them to comment or share. And then, can you believe this jerk? Because there's a lot of people out there who are going to manipulate you. Just be cautious with who you follow. If who you follow and who you subscribe to gets you angry or makes you hate a certain demographic like men, then that's not healthy.
Nope.
Just like the fresh and fit guys, their demographic, those guys hate women. That's horrible. Okay? You don't need that. So just be cautious with who you follow. Everything you see online is a shred of reality. It's not the whole truth. Don't go destroying people's lives based off a fucking 20-second clip that's taken out of context. I hope we all learn from this. Mike, wow, this is very interesting. I followed that guy. Well, I hope you report him and unfollow him, because he's a lying son of a bitch. Cody here. Have you fallen victim to a predatory man? Does your life feel like a miserable prison you can't escape? Well, put that alone time to better use by downloading Hero Wars today. Yeah, that's pretty much what he did. Oh my God. Ashley, again, thank you for sharing your story and how your husband's connected to him. She says, I sent my husband a screenshot that he made $20K in 1 week on Facebook. My husband told him money isn't everything. And he said, well, my sanity is, I think, because he no longer works at a church. So that figures. Yeah, he seems tight. Yeah, but send your husband this video.
See, it's already starting, y'all. Members only live. And we just had a comment flagged. Tell me. Right here, Kylie. A troll flagged your comment. How can you underestimate the online sleuth, RH, you idiot? A troll has already came into the members live to flag comments. That's what I'm saying, you guys. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't have done this, and I already have it planned out how I'm doing it, and I already knew that the trolls were going to be coming. And what he's saying is true. You got to be very careful who you support, who you promote, all of that stuff on here, because it is the truth. When you see that people can manipulate others for their own gain, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And then the same person is having a gain from another victim, and unfortunately, Micah can't respond, and things are being manipulated a certain way. Yeah, this is a members live only, but the reason what I'm doing is we're going to have a few parts, and I'm going to do them. It's going to be all in this week's time. Because tomorrow I might even do part 2. And we're going to be going through this. I wanted to share this with you all first. That's why I'm doing it a members only. And then after we're done with the part 3, where I break down his own words, then all of these will be public. And I'm going to see if maybe in the last episode will probably be just a collab where I have other content creators come up and we discuss all this stuff. I'd like to send Rude Advice, an invite to that as well. And some other content creators, because I think the finale of this, where it won't be a members only, it'll be an everybody live. Maybe what I'll do is with the collab, you know what I mean? I'll release the videos to the public a day or two before the collab, and then we'll have a collab about it and have other content creators up here, you know, kind of expressing different things too. So definitely go show Rude Advice some love. This was part 1. Like I said, we might do part 2 tomorrow. It just depends on the weather, but it's supposed to rain here quite a bit this week. So I am going to have a bunch of time where I'm just sitting around, and I'd be doing prep work anyway, and we might as well knock these out. Like I said, share this with other people. Rude Advice is the first part that we went into, and then we'll be going into different things. Each episode's going to be its own unique episode, and then it's going to be a collective thing. So like I said, you know, spread the word, talk about it amongst the community, let them know what you saw, let them know what you heard. I have the shield. We have the shield. I was already prepared for this, and I'm already prepared for another 3 or 4 moves ahead, knowing what the opponent's moves are going to be. I just need your guys' support more than ever, because you know what's going to take place. But at the same time, we're strong enough. We're about the right thing. We're about doing it the right way. And when you can have a community and a collective effort that is about the same thing, doing the right thing and being about the right thing, you always succeed. So I have no worries about if success is down the road or not. It always will be. When it's a community effort, it's about the right thing, doing it the right way. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for being members. Thank you for your extra support. It allows me to be able to be out here and have these conversations and give you guys this knowledge. I appreciate your belief. I appreciate your support. And it's why I do everything that I do, and it's why I work so hard. We're going to see you guys back later tonight. We're going to have Ann on the show discussing that 911. Like I said, tell everybody, you know what I'm saying? I know look, we already had one of the trolls coming in here flagging comments already, pretending, and who knows, they were probably gifted a membership, and who knows, but we already know. We just saw one coming in here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bunch of flags that are going to be happening in the next few shows as we get into them. Thank you so much, Rosie. I appreciate you taking out time out of your day. Thank you all. And we got more for you. Trust me. And I can't wait to do this breakdown, because I've been wanting to do this breakdown for a couple weeks now. And I'm about to show y'all. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. And we'll see you on the next show. Appreciate you.
Bye, everyone.